Welcome to the Positive Mindset Podcast, the number one mindset podcast in the world. My name is Henry Lawrence, and in this episode, we're going to talk about how to shift into your positive mind so that you can see the way forward and enjoy the life that you create. And make sure to stay tuned to the very end because we're going to take a deep, healing, meditative breath to help us align on this message and move forward throughout the day. Perception is everything. How you perceive something is how you receive it. So when you start working on your perception, meaning expanding away from just self, you actually free yourself from what's harming you, from what's hurting you, because you are so much more than just you. If you don't know what to do next, if you're struggling at school, if you're struggling at work, if you're struggling with finance, if you're struggling with love, whatever it is that you're going through, always expansion. When you can see beyond self, where you can see the love, where you can see the good in something, you can start receiving it. Everything exists in everything. So when you look at a situation, you might think like, okay, well, this economic situation is bad. There's nothing good here. At work, there's nothing good here. In my personal life, there's nothing good here. You might see that. But when you start looking deeper, when you start expanding on beyond self, you will find something that is good. So here's a perfect example. Say you're at work. It's a very toxic environment. Your boss is terrible. Maybe your coworkers are terrible. It's terrible. Every day you go, it's headaches, it's blame. It's just a really bad environment. Where could be the good in that? Well, what if because of this environment, you decide that something needs to be different? In fact, you can't stand it so much that you work hard. You start working at night. You start looking for another job, whatever it is. You start putting energy into something else. And when you create that next thing, you're able to build something the opposite of what was. So you end up either going to a company and making this change, or you start your own company with the change. And so everyone that experiences that job benefits from the hard thing that you went through. Think about when someone passes away and then doctors are able to study the diseases, they're able to study things that went through that then turn into treatment and medicine that help other people. On a big enough spread, on a far enough perspective, you can find something good. This is in fact what gratitude is. Gratitude is connecting to the energy of love. So when you're thankful for when you had your baby, when you're thankful for when you got that promotion, when you're thankful for when you got that news from the doctor, you are connecting to a high frequency and spending time in it. That is practicing gratitude. So when you do that, you get more connected with that thing. It becomes easier to find that thing. An example that I use very often, and I think it's something that is relatable, is imagine you start a new job. You start a new job and they put you in front of the computer and say, this is your task. Now, you've never done this before. It's a new job and you're not familiar. And they give you instructions. So you're looking through the instructions. You're trying to do the task. It's going to take you a little while because you've never done it before. But somebody else that's worked at that same place for 10 years, if they were to sit in your seat, they would do that task with ease because they've done it often for 10 years. Their perspective and understanding is different than yours, but the situation is the same. It's the same computer, the same task, the same seat, the same time of day, the same difficulty. It's just somebody with a different perspective. So if somebody was in your life right now and they were better, they'd spent 10 years finding good in situations, finding love in situations, they would be able to find it in yours. Once you accept that there is good in your life, there is love in your life, you can find it. If you decide that everything is all bad, it's not that actually everything becomes all bad. It just becomes what you can see. When you're angry, when you're dealing with a bad situation, you're going to see more in life that will create that anger, that energy. It will keep you in it because you are aligning with that frequency. Everything is existing at once. It's your perception that matters. So if you want to feel good, work on expanding your perception to find the good in every situation. You can go beyond self. You can go beyond how it affects you. Because if it's only about how it affects you, then you're limiting the entire existence of everything that's happening here. You're here for a reason. You do matter, but you are a part of something bigger. Your energy affects the energies around you. I know you've heard the saying that birds of a feather flock together. Meaning when energies are together, they start to shift and mold. That's why when you hang around certain people, you will then be like those certain people because you cannot be different. It's too painful. The resistance is too strong. If you hang out with a bunch of people that think there's no way to prosper, that there's no way to be successful, you will start to adopt those thoughts. Because if you speak differently to them, if they don't change, then you will be uncomfortable. You will be out of alignment. There'll be no reason for you to be around them. You'll find comfort when you agree with them. I know you have that friend that whenever you're around them, they download, they drop the negativity, they say all the bad things, and you can't stand it. You might love the person, you might care the person, but you feel that resistance to them always being negative, them always saying the bad things, and they're saying to you, well, I just want to vent. Aren't we friends? Can't we just vent? You recognize that energy has a feeling, and you can find any energy in anything. And when you try to tell that person, hey, why don't you look at the positive? Why don't you look at this? This could happen because of this. They're so resistant because they're tapped into the energy. You are the same. I am the same. You are tapped into a certain energy. So if you don't like the experience that you're having, you must shift into a different energy, a different perspective. Now, it's not just as simple as saying, okay, well, I'm in a higher perspective now. No, you literally have to be in that frequency. You have to create a pattern of thought, a pattern of action, a pattern of speaking, a pattern of doing. You see, if you say that I'm healthy and I make healthy decisions over and over and over, that's your I am statement. I'm healthy, I make healthy decisions. I'm healthy, I make healthy decisions. If you say that, if you own that, if you make that you, and then anytime you're faced in life with anything that's relative to I am healthy and I make healthy decisions, and then you act in alignment in that, whether it's having a conversation with somebody, it's who you hang around, it's the food you eat, the drinks you drink, the actions you take, when you act in alignment with that, you're empowered in that belief. When you speak in that, you're empowered in that belief. And so as you become more empowered in the belief, it becomes easier to do and see things in alignment with I'm healthy and I make healthy decisions. If you go every single day saying that, acting on that, when you go to a restaurant, the healthy options will stick out to you more. When you're around certain people, the healthy conversations will stick out to you more. Because you're dialing into those things and they're coming into your perspective. That is your gift. Your gift is you can tune at any moment. So if you want a positive life, get good at finding the positive in the world. Get good at processing thoughts in alignment with the positive in the world. Get good at speaking in alignment with the energies of the positive in the world. It doesn't mean you ignore the negativity. It doesn't mean you ignore the bad. Those things are still going to happen, but your experience of it is up to you. If you want an experience of love and joy, know that you are going to go through things where it's absent, but you are going to be the creator of it. You are going to literally be the light. If you say, I want to be in a lit room all the time, well, what happens when the room changes? But if you say, I want to be the light in a room every single time, it doesn't matter if the room changes from a light room or dark room, you are always the light. You have that gift. You have that power. And the trick is making you think you don't. Making you think that it's another side doing it. That's the people in power. That it's your neighbor. That it's your boss that do that. Yes, they affect the world. Of course, external things are happening in this world. That's the gift. Because when an external thing happens, but you choose the perspective that you want to experience it in, you get to become it even more. Imagine a world, a lifetime, an experience so powerful that it literally can make you become something. You can become joy. You can become abundance. You can become forgiveness. You can become love. You can become all of those. The gift of the world is not to give you those things. And there's a perspective right there. If you perceive the world as a world that's meant to give you things, you will always be left wanting. Because you are separate from this world. You are not stuck in this world forever. Whether you think you just die, or you're an energy, or you're a soul, or your spirit, you have to understand that this is a temporary experience. So why would you want to get fulfillment with the temporary when you know you can feel it deep within that there's an energy here, there's a life force here, and you can dial in? Why can two people have similar lives but experience it so differently? Why can two people go through poverty and one have an amazing life that they're so happy about and the other one feels so dismayed? Why can two people live a life of abundance and one think it's the best life ever and feel so much gratitude and the other see what they're missing constantly? It's always your perspective. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath in, and when you breathe in, pick your energy. It could be love, joy, abundance. And when you say it over and over and over again. I am love. I am abundant. I am joy. Whatever you pick, just say it over and over and over again. As you hold your breath, visualize the situation that you're going through. Visualize the difficulty that you're going through. Whatever it is, whatever brought you to this podcast, visualize it, but allow yourself to shift into the light. Allow yourself to see some type of love in that situation because it is meant for you. Are you ready? Let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. And out. You get to choose the rest of your life. Whatever experience that is, you don't get to choose what happens in the world. You can absolutely affect the world. You can be a person of change, a person of impact. But you don't get to choose the storms that are going to come through. You don't get to choose the economic times. You don't get to choose the illnesses, the loss, all those things. Those are going to happen. But you do get to choose how you experience them. And you can't say you didn't know. If you listen to this episode, which you can play again and again and again, you can't say you didn't know. So pick your frequency and become the rising tide that lifts all ships. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope this episode was impactful. It gave you a different perspective on whatever it is that you're going through. If you want to make sure you don't miss a single episode, make sure you subscribe to my email list. There's a link down below. It will keep you up to date with every single episode. And if you want to follow me on social media, there's my Instagram and TikTok down below as well. And if you've been listening to these episodes, if you're ready to make a shift, if you want to learn how to do this on a deeper level, on a one-on-one level, I am still working with people one-on-one. The easiest way to reach out to me is via Instagram, or you can send me an email at henry@vibeabundant.com. That's Henry, Henry, at vibeabundant.com. You can shoot me an email there. And even if it's just a conversation, even if you just have a question, we can talk about there. We don't have to work together, but if it makes sense, I'd love to work with you. I'd love to help you make this shift into the new year so that you can start seeing the difference in your life and creating an experience that you love. Well, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.